Hi guys and welcome to another video, and today we're gonna be doing more coding.
So it's still object-oriented programming, but we'll do the practice part. So there are a lot of things in your code, so probably not gonna do everything. I think.
I don't think it might be that important for this project now, since
so
it's a waste of time.
It's a waste of time. Why?
Isn't it?
You don't want to continue this?
Like, you just orient it and still the same way.
Yeah, that's the point. So doesn't matter which way you do it. If you can do it, it's okay, right? But in this game, we have something that is a good fit for the object-oriented way. So as you can see, last time you asked me, there are a lot of state here. You have to do the state a lot of times. So there's a good fit for the player to be an object, because you can see the current room, the survival rounds, the
You probably mean by subject.
Object?
Yeah.
What do you mean subject?
Aren't subjects living things and objects aren't alive?
You still remember the object programming, right? So it's blueprint, class, object, test instance.
Not that much.
Not that much. So today we help you remember. So all those things are like properties of a player, right? So like the player sanity, the player survival, how many rounds, what's the current room the player is in. All those things are like properties of a player, right? So if we can have a player object that maintains those things for you, keep those states in the player instead of the game loop, that will make this cleaner. Yeah. So we can start from the player file. We can create the class. So after you create the class, this function, I think we can just keep it here as part of the class. So like we said, we have sanity. So default we can say 0, current room 0, survival rounds 0. So those are the default values. And also we have the initiate function. Yeah. So that's the interesting part. Every time we start the game, we need to let the player choose the difficulty and let the player set the sanity by the difficulty, right? So instead of doing this kind of thing, we can move this into the initiate function. So when we create a player object, we kind of get this sanity straight away, because that's the first thing we want the player to have. So in the initial function, we get the difficulty first. And of course, we need to import gameplay. And then here, we can use self. Remember what is self? It's the player self, right? So player sanity here now will equal to player get player sanity, which is already in this class, right? So what we can do is, instead of player, we just call self and pass the difficulty to this function. Then this way, the player sanity is set when you create an object from this blueprint class player. Yeah. So let's change this thing to use the player object. So we need to import player. So here when you import player, you import this player file, right? So if you need to use the player class, you will have to say player dot big P player, which is a bit weird kind of way. So another way to import the player class straight away is you say from player import player. So this way you import the class from this player file. So you don't have to do player.player. Instead you can say this is player.
Why is the random thing not okay.
That's it. So this one we no longer need.
Bye-bye.
The current room we kind of need, but we can also make this into the initiate function of the player, right? Because the player, when the first time the player is created, we can say self the current room is random room.
We totally forgot to import that.
Yeah. So that way we also set the current room in the player from the initiate, right? And the survival is already 0 because that's the default value. Now in our state we only have player and the winning room now. Yes. So now because of it's no longer the state survival room, it's the player now. Yeah. So player, now if you need to change the variable inside the object, what do you do? Remember, dot.
Yeah.
So that's how you change the property inside the object, yeah? And also here it's the same, so it's no longer current remove, it's the player current room. And all those player sanity stuff. So here, because we just need to remember last time we did a creature MFR thing, we can actually just pass the player to the MFR, and we don't need to do this anymore. Player. So if we pass the player to the encounter MFR, we go to the MFR function, we need to change here, pass the player in. So the player sanity is actually player dot sanity. And we don't even need to return it because it's already set inside the player. So that's the object way, but the object will keep your state in the object itself, so you don't.
What does the thing on the side mean? You know how it says
Where is it? M means it's modified. So in your GitHub, you can later in your GitHub app, you will see those are the changes, and you can submit those changes. So the green one means it's new. So those are the changes that you have made locally, and not submitted to the remote and to your.
So
to your Git.
are we gonna submit it at the end?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Usually when you test everything is working fine, you submit, right? So here we don't need to return anymore because you set the sanity to the player straight away. Okay, that makes things a little bit simple. For the win and lose kind of thing, that's the same. We no longer need to pass all those things to it, right? Because it's just the player object. So here we just say player. Now we need to change the gameplay, the lose part, to use the player object. And same, it becomes this typo. Okay, so that way you only need to pass the object in and use the practice inside the object to do all your logic. I think that's about it. So we've changed everything to the player. Let's have a try, see if everything still works. Okay, see, it's straight away it pops up the. What's that? That's a new thing you added. What does it say? What's there? Wait. There must be something wrong with our code and get player sanity. So any function that's method that's in the class, you have to do this, remember? So without this, you cannot. So let's see.
Creator.
Yeah, so that works. You want to try a new wing? What's the thing? Creators only? What does it do?
Gives you more,
More
sanity
sanity.
than even a baby doll.
Okay.
And you're allowed to change it.
But we want to see the failure. Oh, it's already died straight away. Okay, so everything still works because the one we changed in the loose part, we need to verify it still works. Yeah. So this is how you use the object-oriented way.
Were like, wait.
Yeah, you just no clip and then you become a MFR straight away.
Yeah, that would happen to the most unlucky people in the world if they know.
That's me, right? I just got. So after everything's done, we submit this to GitHub. So as you can see in your changes, we have the creature file last time we did, and we have the changes we've done today. So if you click those files one by one, you will see what has been changed. Right? So that way you can check again, did you do anything wrong? Is there anything you shouldn't change but you changed? If you are sure everything is fine, then you can just say, put some message here, right? Practice. After you commit, remember to push to the origin. So that way it will be online for us to check out. Okay. So I think that's all for today.
So also check out the GitHub thing.
And I think this is the last video in season 1.
Yep.
So we finished most of the basic stuff.
So see you in season 2. Also, just to say, we're gonna be learning other coding languages.
So you want to learn HTML, CSS,
Java,
JavaScript.
Probably the HTML because
I think those 3 things are together. So you want to make a website, right? So
not really. I want to go on to the website, maybe sneakily in school code the website and then change it to something.
Because that's not that useful. If you want to be creative and make your own stuff.
And how do you even create the blank websites?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna learn in the next season.
Did you teach my mom already about that?
A little bit, but not everything.
Okay.
She's learning by herself. She's not learning in our path. So.
But she is looking at our videos.
So the Python stuff is what we call backend. So that backend will run on a server. So the server side will do stuff. When you visit a website, basically you get the HTML, JavaScript, CSS from the server side. And then the JavaScript, HTML, CSS runs in your browser. So your browser will interact with your backend to do a lot of things. So website is actually runs both on the server and your browser to work together to make your web experience.
Oh,
So
is that
in the next season, we will learn all those things.
good?
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.